Welcome to Tech in the Car. This is the MG ZS EV. I'm going to show you some stuff which I think is really cool about it, give you a little tour, take it for a drive, check out my range video and also my infotainment video. Let's get into it. This ZS EV is a top trim level called the Exclusive. There's also the Excite. This does 0 to 62 miles an hour in 8.5 seconds, and its cost after the government electric grant is £28,595. And for that, you get a 143 horsepower electric motor. So this is a 44.5 kilowatt hour battery, which is good for 163 miles WLTP range. This car can charge 0 to 80% in 40 minutes, or on a 7 kilowatt wall box, it takes about 6.5 hours. Obviously, if you're just plugging it into the mains, like I've been doing here, then it'll probably take most of the night to charge. But one of the benefits of electric cars, and it's very easy for people to forget, is every day you start your car with a full charge. You will never start your car, if you have a petrol engine car or diesel, with a full tank, unless you literally live at a petrol station, which nobody does. So that's one benefit people forget about electric cars. And if you plan your journeys, then electric cars are really, really efficient. And it's kind of nice driving around and it being really quiet wherever you go. And that's coming from somebody with a loud RS3 performance car. Now you might be wondering, how do I charge my MG ZS EV? Well, it's front charging just like the Honda E, and it's very easy. Unlock the car, press the MG badge, it pops up like this, and then inside here you have everything you need to connect up to your charger, be it at your home or at a charging point. And the MG logo glows as well at night, which is pretty cool, so you can see that it's charging. And don't worry, it's all waterproof, so you don't need to worry about anything if you leave it open like that. Let's talk about these headlights. They have LED daytime running lights, but there's no option for LED headlights. They're actually halogen bulbs. The front of the car looks really attractive. It's got this grille. It doesn't look like an electric car necessarily. The only thing which gives it away is the sound of an electric car, which you'll hear when we go for drive in a little bit. And in case you're wondering what is underneath the bonnet, pretty cool down here. You have the electric motor in all its glory, and because it is an SUV, you get a really, really good view of the electric side of this and the normal battery as well, which powers the car when it starts up. As standard, all MG ZS EVs come with 17-inch alloy wheels, which look really, really good to me. This color is Pimlico Blue, which is a £595 paint option, which again, I think looks really cool. I like blue. Blue is my favorite color, so I like this. And you can just see the side lines of the car are actually very sporty. We've got the roof bars here. You can just about see the panoramic roof is open. In fact, if you look at the option list, the main difference between the Excite and the Exclusive are extra driving assistance features, which are really, really useful, and being tech in the car I'd always recommend, and the full panoramic glass sunroof, which I'd also recommend. So in my opinion, I would spend the extra £2,000 and go for the next model up. If you're looking at it, I think the Exclusive is better value and gives you more equipment. If you choose to spec the keyless entry, that's what this little button here is for. You just tap it, and then as long as you got the key in your pocket, you can get in and out. Let's have a look at the interior space now. So the one thing you will notice is the seats are very upright, and that's because the batteries are underneath here. However, once inside, it's spacious. I don't have any issues. There's leg room here. There's headroom above me. The panoramic glass sunroof adds to it. If you close the door, then the windows are still quite wide. And the other thing too, which is really cool, is these windows do actually come down all the way. They're not those windows which stop just before the bottom. And looking at the inside of the car, there's a USB charger back here, and there's plenty of space. Just a bit upright and a bit higher with the floor because of the batteries, but comfortable enough back here and plenty of space, I would say. This is how much room there is for your dog in the back of the MG ZS EV. What about rear boot space? Well, you'll be pleased to know that this car actually has 480 litres of space back here, which is actually more than the ICE engine version of this car, which has 448. And there's plenty of space back here. There's hooks, there's tie down points. I've got all of my filming equipment back here. So no problems with space in the back of the car. And what I like about this is very VW. You open it by pulling on the badge. I like that a lot. Welcome to the inside of the MG ZS EV. So inside this car, it feels very, very comfortable. There's lots of clever little touches. So one of the first things, and this is a very, very small thing, but I really like, is this dashboard top is flat. Now, this might not seem like a big deal, but actually being able to put your phone or whatever on there is actually quite handy because lots of dashboards are not flat like that, and so you can't use that area. Also, there's some stitching along here which makes it look quite nice, and it's all soft plastic there. It's a bit harder plastic here and in the middle, of course, but again, convenience is really easy here. We've got a little tray to put stuff, and underneath here is the USB ports and your cigarette charger, which you can use to connect whatever you want to. So that's pretty cool and easy to do. There's 2 cup holders down here. There's a pocket here where you can put stuff. There's a little cover here that you can use to cover this up. The seats in this car are pretty comfortable. They are a tiny bit on the hard side though. In the exclusive trim, which is what this car is, they are electrically adjustable, although there is no lumbar support adjustment. There's a nice spacious glove compartment, and the steering wheel feels like a VW steering wheel. It looks like my old Golf R steering wheel. It's got all the controls you could need. This car has analog dials, unlike most electric cars, and in the middle here there's an 8-inch touchscreen which has got Android Auto and Apple CarPlay and your navigation and everything you could want. Your climate control is all manual, so you don't have to fiddle around with that, which is nice and good. And you know, the gear selector is pretty easy to understand. You turn it one way for reverse, turn it another way for neutral, another way for park. Pretty easy. And then there's the buttons in the middle here for your mode, going between sport, normal and eco mode. Your KERS, which is your regen braking, which has got 3 modes, 1, 2, 3 as it says on there. And then your battery information, which will bring you to your battery information on the screen. So all in all, really comfortable, nice interior. One thing which elevates the exclusive model even more is this massive glass panoramic sunroof. This is a really cool feature. This is worth getting the exclusive just for that, because it brings in so much light. I'm driving the MG ZS EV electric SUV. This is a front wheel drive electric car with 143 horsepower, doing 0 to 60 miles an hour in 8.5 seconds, but because it's electric, it's got instant torque, so it feels a lot faster, and it has a WLTP range of 163 miles, but check out my range video to see how far it really went. This car is very easy to drive. We've got an 8-inch touchscreen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. We've got analog dials, but we've got a little screen which shows us our battery status. The regen braking is very predictable on this car. Some electric cars, they have quite aggressive regen braking. With this car, there's 3 different modes which are selected using the KERS button down below the infotainment system. And what's great about that is you know what you're going to get. Even if you're a newcomer to electric cars, you know that when you press the brake, it's predictable and it's understandable and relatable. By the way, KERS is what they call it in Formula One when they use the braking power to give them extra boost of power when overtaking. So that's quite cool. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that's quite cool. There's a little battery button here so I can see my range as well. It's telling me I've got 132 miles left. Check out my range video on this car, by the way. And it drives really simply. The suspension is quite comfortable. You do feel some bumps, but not in a bad way when you go over them. It's not necessarily the most cushioned suspension, but it's more than comfortable. And considering the cost of this car, this exclusive trim, which is £28,595, and you get the adaptive cruise control, the lane assist, the brake avoidant, the pedestrian braking, all of that technology included, plus an amazing glass panoramic sunroof, plus all the other functionality this car has. It is an amazing value car. It's easy to steer, you know where you're going. Yes, it isn't a sporty car. You can tell that. It's not been designed as a sporty car, but that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it when driving. And I think that anybody that gets behind the wheel of this car will enjoy this car. So I would check this out, absolutely. Let's talk about the drive mode. So I mentioned there's 3 drive modes and there's also 3 regen braking modes. So let's try out mode S. Mode S is sports mode. So when I put it into sports mode, immediately the car is far more responsive. When I put my foot to the accelerator pedal, immediately it takes off. There's no lag, there's no delay. The steering feels slightly sharper, although it doesn't actually affect the steering. I think it's probably just an effect of the car being more responsive in the accelerator. If I put it into normal, you kind of feel it slows back. I think maybe it's also affecting the regen braking, possibly. I don't know this for a fact, but the regen braking feels a bit different to me. And then if I go into eco mode, it just feels a bit slower. It definitely feels like it's braking more and there's more regen going up. I don't actually know if that's what's happening, but that's how it feels. And then likewise, if we change the regen mode to 2, it was then 3, and then to 1, it just brakes a bit less aggressively. It slows down a little less aggressively, depending on what mode it is. So, you know, I would say that there is a noticeable difference between the 3 different modes, which you wouldn't necessarily notice, I think, maybe with some of the other cars I've been in. I think like the EC4 was probably the last car. That's the lane assist telling me I'm not in the right lane. I think the EC4 was the last car which was kind of like this and felt similar. The EC4 has a slightly higher range, it's got slightly bit of performance. Interesting differences, right? So what's my tech in the car rating for this, the MG ZS EV? Comfort 4 out of 5, connectivity 3 out of 5, driver assistance 4 out of 5, parking 3 out of 5, environment 5, value 5 out of 5, for a total of 24 out of 30 for this, the MG ZS EV. This is a really fantastic value car. If you're looking for a car which costs £28,000, or much less than £30,000, even at its top spec, then this is a fantastic car. The closest car that I've reviewed to this on the channel so far is a Citroen EC4, which is slightly more expensive and has a slightly better spec. But this is amazing value. Check one out. Thank you to MG for giving me this car for the review. And for everyone who's watching, please give it a like if you found it helpful, subscribe if you want to see more. And if you have any questions, let me know down below. I'll answer anything you want to know about this car. Check out my range video and my infotainment video too on this car.